Good evening, everybody. This is your favorite Serbian American or Yugoslav American grouch or Balkan American grouch, just maybe your favorite American grouch. Maybe you've searched high and low, all the other ethnic groups that inhabit the United States, and you've not found a better grouch than you have here. And if that's the case, I'm proud. We can put that on my gravestone. Number one grouch in America. First the United States, next the world. Oh wait, I forgot my intro music. Wait. I like that, right? That's kind of nice. It's good because we're coming up on the 1st of June, and as you know, I am going to sally forth with my concept of 2 minutes of love once a month, and this is your reminder video. But I'm going to kind of try to inspire you in a roundabout way about what to think about as you're sending out your 2 minutes of love. And remember, what we're trying to establish is if there's a global consciousness, that can be detected when, kind of horrifying things are happening, like, in 2004 when there was the tsunami in the Indian Ocean, or the Haitian earthquake in 2011, I think it was, stuff like that. When that sort of, I've discussed before, there are experiments that suggest that perhaps there is if enough people around the world hear about it, we kind of come into sync together. Well, why should we be coming in? It would be nicer if we came into sync around something, more gentle or kind, right? So that's why I came up with this 2 minutes of love, right? Because it doesn't interfere with anything. It just makes everything better. It's sort of like, how MSG makes everything taste better. Love is the MSG of life. There you go. So what we want to do is kind of make that available to people and set examples for it. And I think that this 2 minutes of love, if enough people do it regularly, in just once a month, in practice, we'll get to something really interesting, but I'm going to go about this in a roundabout way because I haven't been making very many videos. I haven't been inspired. It's not that I haven't been inspired. I've had some inspirations here and there, but I've just been in a really dark place with my mental health. I'll be very honest about that because I think it's important to do that. And how I'll explain this, how I got there, is through something that we can all relate to, which is candy. Unless you're diabetic, right? Lately, I've been on a little bit of a kick where I'm eating a lot of Reese's peanut butter cups. Not a lot, I'm not cramming them down my throat, 8 a day, one after the other. Just, I'm eating them more than I usually do. I mean, prior to this little kick, I don't think I'd had a Reese's peanut butter cup in several years, so it's not like it's my favorite candy or anything like that, but I saw it. I was making an order for delivery, and I saw it, and I was like, those are pretty good. I like those. Let's get some. And then when I got them, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, these are really delicious. And so I just kind of kept ordering them. And, usually with me, when I'm on a little kick like this, at some point, I'm done. And I think I'm almost done. I might want maybe another sleeve of 4. I'm not sure. But it's no problem for me to get it. And what, for those of you outside the United States who don't know what a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is just like chocolate candy with peanut butter in the middle, and it's the chocolate is white milk chocolate, and it's really delicious. And what's funny is now that there's all these sort of bespoke chocolatiers these days. There's a fancy version of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. Oh God, I'm giving Reese's advertising without a contract. I need money for that. I'll just say Peanut Butter Cup. Maybe that's trademarked too. Who knows? But anyway, and this kind of fancy chocolate company made a peanut butter cup, and because the packaging was so attractive and the price tag was so much more, I remember trying their peanut butter cup. It was called like Justin's, something like that. I tried it and I was like, well, this is just like the regular peanut butter cup, and I paid like 3 times more. I can understand if it's like got a different nut butter in it. Like I bet an almond almond butter cup would be delicious, or a macadamia nut butter cup would be delicious too. But whatever. No, you don't need to gild the lily. I mean, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup's pretty good. Anyway. Okay, so now we established I like this candy, but now let's pretend that this candy is actually something that I need to live. It's a medication, and there's only one factory that makes this medication, this Reese's Peanut Butter Cup medication, and the company that owns that factory is bankrupt, and the factory has been shut down. How, and this is a medication I use several times a day, and it helps me like exist. What happens then? What am I supposed to do? Because that's what's happened to me. There's a medication I use, and it's like it gets me through the day. It's actually a pretty simple, it's not a super fancy medication. It's an old-timey medication, and it's used by a lot of lung patients, and it's used by hospitals, and it's a really important medication. And for us in the United States not to be producing it is kind of a national shame, right? And so now begins the search for, the replacement for the peanut butter cup, right? Okay, I go to my DLR, my peanut butter cup DLR, known as a doctor, my pulmonologist, and he says there is an alternative It's rather expensive, but you can we can try that out. Okay, so now I go to try out this alternative. So he has to put in an order. The insurance company goes back and forth about whether they want to even cover this order. Never mind the fact that, you know, the oh, I want to mention about the original Reese's peanut butter, the original peanut butter cup. I read an article about Cardi B, and she has asthma, and she's used this peanut butter cup growing up, you know. So this is, you know, like, so you get the idea, like, you know, this, everybody needs this peanut butter cup. Okay, so now we're back to the workaround. My doctor recommends this alternative. I say let's go for it and try it out, see if it even works for me before I figure out, you know, other means of getting a hold of this stuff. And it takes about a month just to get the replacement. And because the insurance doesn't want to cover it. And the other thing is it's instead of coming in a peanut butter, a single peanut butter cup form, it comes with the chocolate and the peanut butter, and it's up to you to put it together. And the peanut butter is covered by insurance, but the chocolate is not. Luckily, the chocolate doesn't cost very much money, but keep in mind I'm fairly privileged compared to most patients. You know, as far as money is concerned, it's not that much of a burden. And we get it. First of all, it comes, and I've got all the peanut butter and none of the chocolate. So I have to figure out from my doctor, did he intend for me to get the chocolate? Because there's some confusing, there's all this literature inside the box, and I'm reading through it, and it seems like maybe for some people you just take the peanut butter. No. Once I write to my doctor, he's like, no, you need the chocolate as well. And I'll order that for you. Great. Get it. Boom. Okay. Now, that takes a month. And in the meantime, I'm slowly, you know, depleting my cache of the original medicine. And okay, great. And then I have a contact at my insurance company, and asked her, you know, what she thought, and she thinks that she gives me some solutions for trying to get the original stuff. And I'm like, I don't see how you can get the original stuff if the original stuff is not being produced. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But she gives me some sort of encouragement that the company through which I can get the original stuff is very large and has buying power. So that might be a solution down the line. And in the meantime, you know, I'm not finding not the new peanut butter cup, you know, where I have to do the work of blending the chocolate and peanut butter. It's for as expensive as it is, I would have and for as and I have to use it. I can't use it as often the prescription is very clear. I can only use it once every 8 hours, whereas the other one I can use once every 6 hours. And during times like allergy season or smoke season or so forth, sometimes I need to use um, peanut butter cup more often. So, that's something that I just have to be, have top of mind um, when I, when, when, when this is happening. So I have to be really careful about how I manage all these medications. This caused me to go into a bit of a depression. I went into a very dark place. I, kind of, a little bit of a pity party. It's kind of pathetic, but it's what happened. I felt like, wow, my country's really not, sticking up for me here. Because when you think about it, in 2008, when we had a financial crisis, the car industry was bailed out, the insurance industry was bailed out, and banks were bailed out. We have something that, a world famous rapper and hospitals all over the country and COPD patients, asthma patients, emphysema patients, any chronic lung patient all need. And for this one company not to be bailed out by the government, that would have been a really great solution if we had a functioning government system, but we don't. Because that would have been a great bailout. It wouldn't have been as costly, and it would have been so beneficial to so many people across the country. And especially now with COVID, there are going to be more, there's going to be a lot more need, and at the same time, I worry, as has been done with another great treatment for a different disease, insulin. I worry about, sort of people attempting to make money off of this stuff, off my peanut butter cup. So I was really, really, really depressed. I'm telling you, I felt like really defeated. And I don't feel this way. It's not normal for me. I had to, check in with my psychiatrist about this. I had lots of sessions with my therapist. I was calling the suicide hotline. I was calling, luckily in the state of Washington, we have something called the Warm Line. I was calling them to just kind of keep myself afloat. So I wasn't, in this, doom and gloom mode. Because, and ultimately, what kept me balanced was my my faith and the teachings of, I'm going to be corny here, but teachings of Jesus that say we really only have today. And that's what keeps me going, is that I really only have today, and today I am taken care of. And I don't know, and I can't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow isn't here. And so as long as I'm taken care of today, I'm fine. Not to say that I'm not, trying to, set things in motion so that I can have a lot of todays, but that's what's finally kind of brought me out of this sort of dark night of the soul, for lack of a better description of what's going on. in my life. Um, so the other day, a, a couple weeks ago, I was participated in a discussion, an online discussion, in a kind of a mindful chat group that I participate in from time to time, and the topic was systems, and it's like, how do they impact our lives, and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, for me, going through this, all I can think about is that a better system would have a better solution for me with my peanut butter cup medication than what's on offer. And one thing that I think the facilitator of this discussion said was, we don't rise to the level of our goals. This is a quote from some, thinker. I wish I could tell you who, I can't remember. We don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. Okay? So basically we have fallen in our system around this particular medication that is very commonly used and across the board, institutionally and individually, by patients and by Cardi B. At least I think it's Cardi B. I remember reading an article about it. And, yeah. And that, that says something. It's like, we're only gonna do something as good as our system allows it to. So the question is that I feel like the system in this case is, yielding a pretty mediocre result. And is that good enough for you? Is mediocre good enough for you? And it's not for me, but I can't do anything about it unless I find community with people for whom mediocrity is not a great result either. And I don't have a lot of confidence that that I can find those people, especially since I can't even leave my house. So before I get us to where we're going on June 1st for our 2 minutes of love, to sort of disrupt the negative energy in the world these days, I wanted to point you to a book that I picked up the other day, and it's called Better by a guy named Atul Gawande. He's a doctor. He's written for the New Yorker for many years. Has really interesting insights into like how things work on the doctor's side, and he talks about systems in this book. One of the first essays he writes is about washing hands in the medical theater, and how just that, having a system around washing hands, results in so much better outcomes than not having that system, right? So that's something, a lot of rhetoric in America today is about individual responsibility. It's like, well, okay, but if we have a system in place that demands that each individual, you know, be responsible enough to wash their hands in a medical situation, boy, are we going to be a lot healthier and not have such high medical bills and such traumatic declines due to sepsis and so forth, right? So that's sort of what we want. But one of his essays, which kind of, made me straighten my tiara, my peanut butter cup tiara. It was one where he goes to India for a little bit to do some doctoring over there, and he goes all over. He goes to small villages, he goes to large regional hospitals and so forth. And the system there is something, really kind of complicated and unjust. And as much as I think our system is unjust, this is even more unjust. And I don't see how it's sustainable. A sick person going to a hospital with some sort of let me think of a procedure. Okay, let's say they have to have a colonoscopy. All right. They show up at the hospital. The doctor orders a colonoscopy and then gives them a prescription for all the things that are needed for the colonoscopy. And then that patient has to go outside the hospital, and around the hospital is has been set up as sort of a district that sells medical supplies that a hospital should already have. All right, think about how messed up that system is. All right, we're not there yet. I bet you we will be, but we're not there yet. Well, no, I don't want to bet that we will be, because then I don't want to see that happen. But, we need to be vigilant that doesn't happen, right? And then when the patient comes back with whatever the prescriptions are, I mean, that includes tubing like this, which I imagine you need tubing for a colonoscopy, and what all this stuff they have to provide themselves. And after I saw that, I was like, oh wow, for as messed up as my system is, at least it's not like that. 1 second. Headquarters. Hey, can I call you right back? All right. For as messed up as our system is, at least we're not there, that I know of. I mean, who knows what rural areas are looking like, but in the city, I can still pretty much count on hospitals to have most supplies. Not the peanut butter cups, unfortunately. I think that's going to be a difficult supply chain issue for a while. My doctor, my primary care guy, he's like, well, because it's such a crucial medication, I imagine, you can, be safe and thinking and understanding that, all hospitals need it, this stuff is needed. And it's like, wow, you have so much more faith in our system than I do, and I hope that his vision is better than proves to be the prevailing vision, so that I don't have to have a freak out again like this, because this mental health hiccup has been quite brutal, and I'm on the other side for the most part. But it's not been fun, and it was unnecessary, uh, because this is a rich country, and there's no reason for this kind of thing to be happening inside such a wealthy country. All right, and with the usual acknowledgments that. It's much worse if you're not poor. If you're poor, it's much worse if you're not white. It's much worse if you're not cis hetero. Everything's much worse. So this is hitting. But it's hitting me. Despite being sort of fairly affluent and protected in many ways. It's hitting me because I'm disabled, so I'm sort of part of not the predominant class anymore, and that's how I get to see these things first. And so you should also be paying attention to people who can see these things first. So if people who are seeing things first and you are denying that you're seeing that exists, it's because you are privileged enough not to see these things. So I hope my peanut butter cup sort of metaphor explains a little bit better how the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry, is really can really wreak havoc on a sick person's mental health and their families' peace. All in the search of an almighty dollar. So what I want to do now is acknowledge that I'm broadcasting to you from traditional land of the Duwamish and Coastal Salish people. I want to also give you your assignment for June 1st, 2 minutes of love, and I'm gonna say let's do it at 6 p.m. Pacific, because that's 6:30 a.m. Mumbai time, and that way we can be sending a lot of love. If you happen to have that book, better. I think the Gawande books are quite well known, and a lot of people read them. If you have one of those, or you can check it out of the library and look at the part where he talks about India, maybe our 2 minutes of love can go out to the practitioners and medical workers in India, and wishes for their systems to work a little bit better. And so with that, that's when we're gonna do it, June 1st, 6 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, and just 2 minutes, close your eyes and think about love, and think about spreading your love to people who are affected by systems that are beyond their control. And if you want to send your love my way, I'd be very appreciative and receptive to that as well. Okay. Death to fascism, freedom to the people, and I do love you.